XRP's facing some sell-off pressure, but we're maintaining that $3 floor support. We'll talk price action. Banks are making it easier to play with crypto. Yeah, TradeFi's warming up. Well, yeah, especially after the Genius Act. The Kraken IPO is heating up. I got a valuation for you. The SEC wants to regulate crypto, even though they said most of crypto isn't a security.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
That's right. Coinbase and JPMorgan. The banks want to get into crypto now that there's some protection for them. Likely story, banks. Now, before we get into the crypto news, we're going to talk price action. Don't worry about it. What happens? You. Well, yeah, you, the viewer, matter most. That's why I share your comments. These two sum it up perfectly. Will do it. Says, I've had to mute and block hundreds of clowns on X at this point. Non-stop Hopium marathon that is totally exhausting. I look forward to daily crypto news with Klaus. It's the same for me. I have had to mute a whole bunch of people on X. And I swear, I think most of these accounts are like spiraled off bot accounts or people just really smacked out of their mind. Mark Johnson says, does that mean we're all going bullish on Visa and all that bullshit? Yeah. This has to do with the White House report where all these people are like, oh, bro, Ripple was mentioned. Ripple was mentioned at the history of the first part of crypto. Yeah, I've got it up on the screen right here, and it's in the link down below. And I see Visa on there. Oh, FTX is on there. Should we all be bullish about FTX? I mean, if we're bullish about Ripple being listed right here, how about FTX? Yeah, like I said, people are just going nuts. I need to stop drinking anything when watching your vids. I've almost spit it out on multiple occasions. Spit or swallow? Ladies, let me know in the comments down below. Bitcoin sitting at 115,732. Okay, so BTC is selling off, which is forcing a lot of the market to sell off. Why? Because Jerome Powell came out and was like, yo, I don't think you're getting a rate cut in September. Which means what, everyone? We might only get one rate cut in 2025 if we're lucky. I can't talk this morning. If we're lucky. So yeah. You're seeing pressure on the entire market because of one of our good economic news things is now vanishing. E3662 XP at 301. $3 support. We're seeing it play out. In fact, you look at the chart for the last 24 hours. Yeah, we dip below 3, but look what happens. We're popping back up. We saw the same thing when XRP was near that $2 mark, right? We would dip below it, but we would pop right back up after these moves. We'll get into deeper price action at the end, but first, Coinbase partners with JPMorgan Chase to redeem card rewards in USDC stablecoin. I think this is good. I really do, because one of you asked, hey, what about crypto rewards for cardholders? Well, we've got one right now. Coinbase announced a collaboration with JPMorgan Chase that makes it easier for Chase clients to onboard with the crypto exchange. This means that Chase customers will be able to onboard into Coinbase using Chase cards and bank accounts. Now, this is a big deal because we've seen recently, like real recently, that some banks out there are blocking you from getting into crypto. But now JPMorgan Chase is like, yo, if it's Coinbase, we're cool with it. I wonder what kind of sweetheart deal those two worked out. Additionally, customers will be able to redeem Chase Ultimate Rewards for USD stablecoin. Okay, I'm cool with that too. This could be misinterpreted as crypto being made directly available to Chase clients, but it isn't yet. It just reduces the friction. Again, banks are like, okay, we'll dip our toes in the crypto water, but we're not going full balls deep. However, in May, the bank announced plans to enable clients to buy crypto and include it in their statement. That's going to be coming in 2026, okay? So we're just saying. Oh yeah, I've got the announcement from Coinbase right here. Why? Because everything you see in this video and all my other videos, it's linked in the description below. Let's stick with exchanges and money because Kraken filed for the IPO. And their valuation is pretty interesting here. Kraken is reportedly set to raise $500 million in funding at a valuation of $15 billion as the American crypto exchange eyes potential public offering. The information reported the $500 million funding plan on Tuesday, citing people familiar with the matter, adding that Kraken was last valued at $11 billion in 2022. So essentially almost a 40% increase in value since 2022. Yeah, we could blame Regs for that. Finally getting some regs. Bloomberg reported in March that Kraken was targeting a public debut as early as the first quarter of 2026, citing more friendly regulatory environment under the Trump administration. I'm thinking if some of these exchanges out there, the IPOs for them, if they're thinking that, yo, we're going to get clarity or some market structure bill passed before then. I'm really getting that vibe that some of these people are trying to time it. The company could be looking for a windfall amid recent boom in initial public offerings, which so far has netted big money for trading platforms such as eToro and Circle. Kraken has around 1.37 billion in daily trading volume and lists more than 1,100 crypto pairs. Nice. Is about half the volume its main US-based rival Coinbase. So Kraken's like, yo, Coinbase is making money. Maybe we should make money. Does the Kraken IPO excite any of you? Let me know down below. I don't think this is going to be as big as the USDC one, because that was the big juicy stablecoin one, and then with the Genius Act right around, it was perfect timing, as if they knew, they had some inside information. Yeah, they probably did. The US SEC launches Project Crypto to bring all markets on chain. Interesting. Speaking at the event, SEC Chair Paul Atkins outlined several initiatives that would drive this new course, insisting that the priority of the commission under this leadership. Some of them include updating antiquated regs, facilitating super apps, and enhancing crypto custody. Now, there's an interesting thing about this, and this is kind of what's wonky, okay? During his speech, Atkins directed the SEC commissioners to prioritize the development of clear regulatory policies that would attract crypto back to America. Okay, here's the problem. Interestingly, Atkins stressed that most cryptocurrencies are not securities and that the agency would create clear guidelines and digital asset clarification. So if the majority of crypto are not securities, why the hell is the SEC trying to make the regs for it? That makes no sense. No fucking sense whatsoever. It's all about power, everyone. It is all about power. He also noted that the SEC would enhance the tokenization efforts in America, working closely with firms pursuing the distribution of tokenized securities to provide the required support. Furthermore, the SEC would also modernize crypto custody and trading rights. According to Chair Atkins, Americans have the right to self-custody their assets. You bet we do. While existing regulations do not have digital assets in mind, he noted that his administration would make necessary changes. Again, Atkins is a piece of fucking shit. What has the SEC done differently than the previous regime? Yeah, they've got meetings. Yeah, they've got roundtables. But you're still, denying stuff, right? Remember when they had, the basket ETF with XRP, BTC? They approved it, then stopped it right away. And then they had a second one. They approved it and stopped it right away. HBAR's ETF, they're like, no, sorry, not going to happen. We need more common. This is the same thing you've seen under Gensler. Like I said, it's cool that they're having these roundtable meetings. It's cool that they want to develop regs, but we know that the real regaronis come from Congress. Why? Well, because think about it. The SEC doesn't write the laws. Congress does. And so the SEC, what if we get a new head of the SEC in when we get the next president in and that person doesn't like crypto? Then they could undo it all. You see my point here? The SEC is a piece of shit administration, doing the same thing no matter who the hell is in charge. XRP falls below $3 amid profit taking and selling pressure. This is a very interesting article. Good read here. XP has fallen below the $3 mark, breakout, and strong selling pressure from retail and large holders. On-chain data shows this is driven by profit taking, not panic, signaling potential further downside. I don't think we have too much more downside because the market is pricing in the Jerome Powell negativity. That's what you're seeing up on the screen right now. Jerome Powell talking, yeah, we go on down. It doesn't take long for the markets to price this in, right? Now what we need, though, is the juicy stuff to get us going forward. On-chain metrics and technical indicators confirm the bearish trend. The on-balance volume indicator shows a steep decline, reflecting aggressive selling and diminishing cumulative buying interest. Okay. But we're seeing that across the board with crypto. Altcoin season sliding back a little bit, 34 out of 100. Volume for the crypto market, pretty freaking high. Almost $200 billion in the last 24 hours. Institutional buying, this is what I've been telling you about that I've been paying attention to. Look at this. Outflows for BTC, minor inflows for ETH. That's not a trend we want to see. We want to see more orange and blue bars up on the top here rather than getting smaller or shrinking to the bottom. You can see what I'm talking about. Big inflows mid-July. Since then, it has heavily gone down. So the bigs are giving us what, everyone? The indication. Check it out. There's your big buying the 9th through the 16th of July. ever since we've had shrinkage. It's like when a dude jumps in a pool and his thing looks like a turtle head sinking back into its shell. Yeah, dudes, you know what's up. All right, XRP, like I said, fighting the $3 mark. I'm happy with this. I really am. I don't expect bullish days every day. And honestly, when Jerome Powell peed in our Cheerios, I expected a little bit more selling pressure. But yes, again, for us to bounce back up to that $3 mark. XRP's volume, healthy, up 41% to $8.5 billion. Let's go to those candlesticks and see what pops out at us. This is what I'm talking about right here, okay? We had the run up. We know about that. And then we had the heavy profit taking. We survived a couple tests around the $3 mark. We're doing now our third test around there, and I have confidence that we're going to remain above 3. Now, in the odd case that we don't, now we start talking about some big problems here. More around the 275 mark for XRP, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to stay positive. Why? Because look, we've been tested by the market, and we're holding our own. Zooming out a little bit shows us what? Yeah, this was a healthy move that is still heavy in the profit zone. We went from $2 to $3.50 in a 2-week time period. So it only makes sense that you're going to have people taking profits, and that's what this article here was about. People are taking profits. This is not panic selling. Why? Well, because Jerome Powell yesterday said, baby, you're probably only getting 1 rate cut this year, if that. And I think you're going to see a bunch more programs like with JPMorgan, Chase, and Coinbase. I really do. I think traditional banking is going to start getting into crypto, but they're going to do it very slowly, right? So for everyone going, oh my gosh, overnight we're going to have this mega god candle. No, you've seen. Players are just taking their sweet-ass time in this space. In fact, look at Regs, right? The Clarity Act is not going to pass cleanly, so that's going to take even more time. ETFs, they take a shit ton of time. In terms of crypto regs, like outside of Congress, you know, where like the internal divisions are still trying to figure it out, taking time. Yeah, there's nothing moving fast in this space. Now, it is good, I will admit that, because we are in a better spot than where we were, say, a year ago. But it's still way not juicy, and here's what I mean. You had Trump tweet about the strategic reserve. Haven't had shit since. The White House report, nothing about a strategic reserve in it. So are we just going to wait longer? Like, what's going on, United States government? And think of all the hoopla and drama shit that's gone on too, right? This is the same playbook, just with a different group of people in leadership, right? You still got Pocahontas being negative about shit. You still got Maxine Waters saying crypto's bad, even though when SBF gave her money, crypto was good. So it's frustrating, okay? And I'm frustrated. Yesterday was a difficult day for me. I was really not feeling good at all, hence the one video. Hopefully I can knock out a few more and keep you up to date on the news. I will do my best. Now, that being said, XRP is holding the $3 support mark, which is, I think, going to be a key thing for us here. From the time we get to the September meeting, and by the time we get throughout this year, holding $3 support is going to be paramount. Why? Because that's the floor we're building on before the ETFs, before we get the regs, and before we get the rate cuts. Those 3 bullish things right there, yeah. We hold a $3 floor before we get to those, nice. Once we get to those, even nicer. Turtle head in the shell, cold water. I know, it's just, you know what I'm talking about. Choo-choo what? Sorry, I'm just checking out Garmin. Oh, wait. Okay, it's time. Choo-choo bitches.